Nom, 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 nom.
Right, good morning. My name's Rich. We're Consumer Hub. Thanks for joining us today. We've got our third Snack Challenge podcast. We've got Sara Trechman on the show today. So the point of Snack Challenge podcast is to get into the detail of some of the most exciting snack brands that are coming out in the UK sort of snacking scene. And Well and Truly is a brand that we've sort of seen knocking around on LinkedIn that we've admired from a distance for a while. So we're really excited today to have Sara on the show. So Sara, thanks for joining us. And it's really good to have you here. Can you just tell us a bit about you and your story and what you're getting up to with Well and Truly?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be on this. Ultimately, my sister-in-law and I launched Well and Truly just under 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that we launched it was that we were living together in a flat. She wasn't my sister-in-law at the time.
Yeah.
And Sunday night was movie night.
Mm.
But we would always resort back to our favorite snacks, which were Doritos and Knick Knacks.
Yeah.
But as young girls, we wanted to try and be healthy. So we would try and find a healthy alternative, but we couldn't find one.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to unjunk our favorite snacks, and that's what we set out to do.
Great. So which Knick Knack flavour was your favourite back in the day?
Oh, nice and spicy all the way.
It's got to be, hasn't it? Because it's funny you say that because Knick Knacks, they were definitely my favourite crisps as a kid. And that's when you sent us the box today, the first thing I said is, "Oh my days, these are like Knick Knacks but better and healthier." So
Exactly.
I mean, I haven't tried all the flavours because that's part of the fun of the podcast. I'll do that in a bit. But I couldn't resist. I got into the paprika ones straight away, and they were good. They were tasty.
I'm glad you liked it.
So your sister-in-law then. So you and your sister-in-law. What's your background? What's your story? How did you get into food, or was it just this kind of encounter with movie night and kind of lackluster snacks that made you get into food?
Well, that definitely played a big part of it, but my background's always been in marketing, but very much in FMCG, so fast-moving consumer goods.
Yeah.
So I worked quite a lot in sports nutrition. I also then previously worked for Sky Broadcast, and Maria, my sister-in-law, she had worked at L'Oreal. So nothing to do with food, but we've always had a passion for food, and obviously we're huge snackers. And then it was literally just this desire to be able to have something that we couldn't find. And we were really lucky that we had quite a lot of contacts in the food and drink space. So we then spent 6 months visiting quite a few different factories, primarily in Italy, because bizarrely enough, they're one of the biggest manufacturers of gluten-free products.
Really?
Even though you wouldn't think that because of all the pasta and pizza.
Yeah.
And we found a great manufacturer in Italy, and they decided to take a chance on us because ultimately when you're just starting out, you've got really small volumes.
Yeah.
So they really need to believe in you and your vision and your story to do all the trials that you need to do before you can go into production.
Great. Yeah. And I guess if you've got that background in marketing, then it helps, doesn't it? Even if you've not done stuff for a food company itself, you understand the principle of working back from a need through to insight, testing, working with agencies, creating a concept, activating it. Did you find that sort of wider marketing background you both had sort of helped in just the nuts and bolts of knowing about how to get around launching a brand? Because I imagine even just down to working with agencies, it's got to be quite confusing if you've not got that sort of at least understanding of how marketing fits together.
I think so. I think it really helped because Maria's background was sales. So when we decided to partner, we kind of really complemented each other. So she'd never launched a brand or launched a product, so she didn't know how to even go about that. But it was quite easy for me to get in contact with designers and agencies that I'd worked with before and sell the vision of what we wanted. And they actually helped us come up with the name and the first packaging visuals, which is what we needed to start going to pitch to the retailers.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you what's behind the name then? Is there a story behind that or?
Not really. We wanted something that was going to sort of insinuate health, but also be quite broad so that we weren't going to be stuck in sort of, I don't know, a corn area. We could really branch out to be under lots of different things. So we looked at, what words kind of meant health and well-being. And so and well appeared there. And so then we looked at lots of other synonyms, and well and truly sort of came out of the works. And we were really lucky because no one had trademarked it. And we thought, oh, this is going to be trademarked by loads of different companies. But it hadn't. And so we nabbed it and we absolutely love it.
Oh, great. Yeah. Well, it's got a really good sort of resonance with just the whole concept of well-being, hasn't it? I mean, immediately that word well. I really like the colour scheme as well. It's quite sort of conservative in how it uses the colours, and because it's got a lot of black and white, they sort of pop, and the colour of the snacks themselves pop, which is interesting. Because sometimes you look at snacking packaging and they either have no picture of the product or it's too busy, so you sort of lose the impact of. Well, I feel like with your packaging, although it's not a cutaway, you can sort of really feel what the product's going to look like to fit in your hand. Was that kind of part of the idea behind it, which wanted to communicate the sort of, I don't know, it's because with snacking, I always find, massive snack, that's why I do this snacking podcast. It's as much about the experience and the rustle of the packet and the opening it up and how it feels in your hand. It's kind of like the tactile experience, isn't it, as part of it, not just the taste.
Yeah. So actually the packaging has been a long journey for us. When we first went live 4 years ago, we had white packaging and you couldn't see the images of the snacks on it. It had illustrations. So it looked beautiful, but it was actually probably a little bit too complicated for the consumer. And then we stood at Fixture, spoke to loads of consumers, lots of buyers, and we gathered loads of different learnings. And then we went to a different agency called B&B Studios, and they redesigned the packaging for us. And then we saw a 300% increase in like-for-like sales after launching the new packaging.
Right. Okay, that's amazing. It just shows the power, doesn't it, of that point of sale impact that packaging creates.
It is the most valuable tool that you've got.
Yeah. I know, I think it's Tyrrell's in the past. I've read various kind of blogs by them, and they've talked about pack marketing, they call it, which I always think is like a really interesting term. It's probably not, in the marketing textbooks, but it just sticks with me. So agencies then, tell me about that. So how do you find working with agencies? Some marketing people I speak with, they love it. Other people find it a headache. Kind of, what's your view on it?
I love it. I mean, I think working with some of the best creative minds in London is so refreshing, and you always come out of the meetings completely buzzing, full of different ideas. So I think as long as you find the right partners for you, who believe in your story and understand where you want to take the brand, then it's a perfect partnership.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and I guess so much of it must come down to whether you feel like you connect with them, whether they get the chemistry of your vision, whether they get the kind of the gut feel for where you want to go.
Exactly.
So another question I had for you is, can you tell us a bit about the story of how you got it off the ground? Because it was really interesting. We were chatting to a guy called Frank Laws on the last podcast that we did, and he was saying the first sort of 12 months was just make or break. It was stressful. Pretty much self-funded it all, trying to get it to break even, sleepless nights, wondering about whether he was doing the right thing. And I just love that kind of, it's not rags to riches, is it? But that kind of like in the trenches part of the journey. What was it like for you in those first 12 months? And how did you get it off the ground from an idea into something that was, making money, or at least a workable sort of entity that had traction?
Yeah. So our story is probably quite different to most other food and drink startups. We knew that we wanted to go big. And so we started pitching to Tesco's and Sainsbury's right from the beginning, when we literally just had a couple of products, samples, and some draft designs for the packs. Right. And then we raised 150,000 through SCIS, through investors.
Yeah.
So we were lucky because we knew that finance wasn't our forte. So we pitched to some guys who take on one startup a year, and we won. And so they then supported us through all of our financial modeling and through our first investment round. So that really helped us kind of get off the ground. We were really lucky in that our first ever listing was from Tesco's, and we thought the order was going to be for 300 stores, but when we got it, it was for over 1,000.
Oh, really?
So that made us cry, but also jump for joy, because we didn't know if we were going to make it. And literally, we got the products into the UK with 1 day spare, but it was definitely the most enjoyable, but also most stressful period of my time at Well and Truly ever.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to sort of make any supply chain mistakes at Tesco's on a launch that big, do you?
Definitely not.
And that's beyond the usual trial, isn't it? 1,000 stores. That's exciting.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
Normally, you would go into some small independent stores,
Mhm.
you might go to Whole Foods, and then you would
Yeah.
build up. But on the flip side, it added some different challenges.
Mhm.
So we obviously had really good distribution straight away, but we had absolutely zero brand awareness.
Yeah.
So that then created, I guess, probably 12 months of a bit more of a stressful period.
Right. Yeah. 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 What would you say the biggest high has been so far on the journey?
Oh, definitely that first listing of
Yeah.
just seeing the
I can
product
imagine.
on the shelf for the first time
Yeah. Yeah.
ever in a Tesco store was memorable.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But then since then, I think building the team has been a other real big high.
Mhm.
We've really enjoyed that journey, and now I think we've got a phenomenal team that are really going to take us places.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. Well, working in recruitment, I love hearing about how people build teams because, the way people fit together, how they think, what makes chemistry work, all those intangible sort of factors that you can't get on a job spec. That's what makes a team perform or just, drift. I mean, what is it that made you pick the people that you've got in your team? What were you looking for? Because I imagine in a startup setting, the first people you bring in to, say that partnership that you and Maria have got, it's either going to help explode the productivity or it's going to put a dampener on the creative power and sort of gravity momentum that you've built up.
Yeah. Well, they need to have really high energy.
Hmm.
So when we've done personality tests, because we do that with everyone that
Yeah.
interviews with us, we have a high skew of entertainers.
Yeah.
So they just love being out and about,
Yeah. Yeah.
chatting to people,
Hmm.
great fun and high energy. And ultimately, that's what you really need in a startup
Yeah.
because the road is super bumpy.
Mm.
So yeah.
Do you have a few prima donnas in those high energy creative entertainer types, or have you managed to avoid them, or can you avoid them? I'm not even sure if it's possible.
I think we've got a couple, but they don't clash. So I
That's
think
good.
they actually make each other better. So I think it pretty much
That's,
works well.
that's good. So I mean, we our business, there's only three of us. It's Adam and I, and then our apprentice Harry. But certainly Adam and I have found one of the reasons our partnership works is because we're very, very different. So on a good day, that's managed well, and we don't hack each other off. On a bad day, I annoy him. But how do you and Maria complement each other? Like, what do you find are your skill sets, and how have you sort of learned to kind of leave the other person to their strengths and empower them?
I think what really helped is that we had both really different careers and different
Yeah,
experiences. So it was really natural for Maria to go straight into sales and look after that area.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
was natural for me to go and look after sort of the marketing and NPD.
Hmm.
We shared finance for a while, but now it's an area that I try and lead.
Yeah,
And Maria now also looks after international. So
yeah.
it was a really natural split.
Natural. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting that I think we found that over time we initially sort of did everything together, and then you work out what you're good at, and you think, well, actually, if I'm going to get sort of maximum bang for my bucks, for my hour rate that I'm costing the business, I'm just going to go and do what I'm good at and I like. And I think the
Exactly.
challenge, if it's your own business, is just leaving your ego at the door when it comes to those decisions. Just recognizing you can't be good at everything, which I can only imagine must be extrapolated and sort of increased when you bring people in. Sort of leaving them with your baby to run with it and be responsible with it. That must be a challenge at times.
The first times of delegating was definitely hard,
Yeah,
but now we're a team of eight,
yeah,
so it's much easier to do that now.
great. Yeah, yeah. And obviously we talked about highs. Well, what's been the biggest low? What's been the wince moments? You've had to bite your lip.
Oh, that's easy. It's always cash flow.
Cash flow.
It's so hard to
Mm,
manage. We've done three investment raises now where we've
mhm.
raised over 1 million. We're
Well,
literally just closing another one
mhm.
where we're raising 500,000. But the investment raises always take longer than you expect.
Mhm, mhm.
And so you think, oh, we've got enough cash, we've got enough time.
Yeah, yeah,
But you always go right down to the bare bones where you've got
yeah,
£1,000 in the bank and you're counting down the days to see when the
yeah,
investment's going to come in.
yeah,
And
yeah.
those are the weeks where you don't sleep a wink at night.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, yeah. A bit of mood music going on just to settle your brain on an evening.
Exactly.
Um, So what about the challenges of work and interests outside of work as an entrepreneur, family? Obviously, you and Marie, you've got that family connection, which must make it really fun at times and really intense at times, I can imagine. How do you balance all the other stuff that's important in life with being an entrepreneur, especially in FMCG where it's so relentless?
It's really hard. I think I've done a bad job. I think I'm getting better. Now that I've got 11-month-old daughter, that's really forced me to try and not work on weekends and spend time with her in the evening. And between Maria and I, over the 3 years of Well and Truly, we've actually had 3 babies. So it's definitely been a constant battle for both of us to try and maintain that balance. But I think now with a bigger team, we're starting to get there.
That's good, yeah. I mean, it must be good though, having been at the same stage of your life. I mean, Adam and I, we both got young families, and it's good because you appreciate the hassle. If somebody comes in with some bags under their eyes and big coffee, you get it, don't you? You know what type of night they've had.
Yeah, it definitely helps that we're both in the same boat. I think it would be harder if one of us didn't have any kids.
Yeah. And what's the most enjoyable part of running a business for you? Like what kind of keeps you motivated?
The consumer feedback is part of the reason that we did it. I have a bit of a nutritional background, and I know that if we can swap consumers that normally buy a knick-knack or a what's it to have one of our products, that one swap in their shopping basket can have long-term health benefits. And then the joy of consumers when I watch them try the product and actually go, this is delicious, I can't believe it's good for me. It definitely just makes every single day rewarding.
That's good. Yeah. I think you've got to have that connection to your consumers and shoppers in FMCG, haven't you? Because it's the lifeblood of keeping the product relevant, isn't it, really?
And they're the ones that can come to you with the best ideas ever for your next product launch or your next flavor. So keeping them really close to you is important.
So how do you manage that relationship, with the brand has with the consumer and the shoppers as the business grows? Because I know social media obviously gives people a lot of direct access to consumers now, but it can be a two-edged sword, can't it? It can tank if you don't manage it right. How do you find that interplay between you and your marketplace, which is just ever increasing?
So with social media, we have somebody that looks after that they're dedicated to that, and they've been trained quite carefully on what our tone of voice is. If anybody emails hello@wellandtruly.co.uk, that comes straight to Maria and I, and we respond to all of them. So we feel that it's really important that questions or concerns are coming directly back from the co-founder to the consumer, and they love it. So that's something that we're going to try and keep doing. I think there's obviously going to be a point where you just can't answer all those emails, but we're not there yet. So we're gonna keep doing it this way.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. Yeah, I mean, it's different in recruitment because you've got lots of people applying for jobs, but something we try and pride ourselves on is making sure we respond to absolutely every applicant. And you'd be amazed how many plumbers apply for sales director jobs in the food and drink industry. But and also just saying to people, look, give us a call if you want feedback, you want some tips, and I think those kind of like hard yards in really giving people a good service. You don't necessarily see the return on it then and there. It doesn't impact your cash flow for the next month, does it? But that sort of weight and sort of sense of direction it gives to your brand, and also how it informs and feedbacks on your own value, it's kind of, you can't put a price on it, can't put a value on it, can you?
No, it's so valuable. It's really good.
And so one of the bits of feedback we had on our last podcast is that people really liked hearing the insights about kind of actually practical tips on being an entrepreneur. I think some of the younger listeners that we had that were kind of starting off in their career in food and drink, that they've got aspirations, like a lot of people, to own their own businesses one day. What would you say is your number one tip to anyone that aspires to be an entrepreneur in the food and drink industry?
I think tap into the amazing startup community wherever you live, because everybody that is in a food and drink startup will have had loads of help along the way. So everybody that I've spoken to is always happy to meet up with anybody for a coffee or have a quick call and help them and give them all the tips and advice that they possibly can. I know that when we were literally just starting out, we picked out a few other founders that were in the snacking space but have been doing it for maybe 2 years. And they met up with us for coffee, and it was the most valuable meetings that we'd ever had. So definitely tapping into that community because everybody wants to give back.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, that is the great thing about food and drink industry, isn't it? You know, it's full of entrepreneurs that are excited about it because they love it. You know,
It's a real passion.
I'll say that again. Sorry.
It's a real passion.
Yeah, and interesting people as well. There's not many stuffed shirts in food and drink.
No.
So anyway, I want to get onto the next part of the podcast, a bit that probably everyone's been waiting for. Try these fantastic products. So we've got some behind us just so people can get a bit of a view. But Sarah very kindly sent us a big box of goodies, and we did an unboxing video on LinkedIn, which was good fun. So there you go, well and truly. Yeah, we were definitely delighted to get that through the post. So on Junkin Snacks, and then the hashtag you guys using here, I just want to make sure everyone can see so we can connect with you. Oh dear, that's the camera. It says have it all, guys. Hashtag have it all. And you can follow Well and Truly on Instagram at _Well and Truly, Facebook, Live Well and Truly, and Twitter at _Well and Truly. So go and check out Well and Truly on social. Give them a follow. Some really good stuff there. And you've got a really cool bit of publicity, haven't you, with Gemma Collins, I think?
Yeah, that was our first big brand campaign.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. We filmed it at Victoria Park in London, and she absolutely loved it. She said, "I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this."
It's great. She's like running about on a mobility scooter with a big like blow-up sofa, trying to hook people off their runs to come and try healthy snacks. Oh, it's good twist.
Well, the insane stat is that 78% of consumers will quit their New Year's resolutions by the 12th of January.
Yeah.
So our whole message was, why bother? Just January is hard enough. Just have a good time and try and be healthy later.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, it's funny because I'm a bit of an all or nothing person. I flipping love my snacks, and my motto is always just don't try and cut out snacks. Just make sure you eat better snacks because snacks are good.
Exactly.
You want to keep eating snacks, keep life fun. So these are the products, right? So we've got 4 different flavours. I'm just going to hold these up so people can see. There's sour cream and onion, the green one, and there is really cheesy. Is it too crackly, Adam? All right. Really cheesy, which is the yellow one. And then we've got the blue one, salt and cider vinegar. It's always my favourite, salt and vinegar, so I'm hoping it's going to be good. I'm sure it will be. And then we tried these guys the other day, actually. The paprika was really tasty, really good. So I'm going to get straight into that in a minute. But, Sarah, could you just give us the pitch on what makes Well and Truly so special? Like, why is the product unique? What do you love about it?
Yeah. So all of our snacks are made with all natural ingredients. They are 40% less fat. They're also gluten-free, but they don't compromise on really strong flavors and big on crunch. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, that's what makes them delicious. So when you open the pack, you get this really strong sense of the flavor, and then you bite into the stick, and it is seriously crunchy.
Yeah. It's got that knick-knack effect.
Yeah.
Twist, right. Looking forward to this. So you can see, I'm just going to put some on my hands so people can see. See there, guys. It's like loaded with flavour, looking super tasty. Get into these. These are the paprika ones. Yeah, it's really flavoursome. Big crunch, big flavour in the mouth, and the texture is great. One of the things that I found a lot of the healthy snacking brands, and these are fantastic at it, are getting better at, is just not compromising on the flavour, because sometimes in the past I'd have healthy snacks and you think, well, it's good for you, but if I'm just wanting a bit of a cheeky hit, I'm going to go for it over a box of a bag of salt and vinegar Walkers or something. But this is really, really good. Have you had to work quite a lot with the flavourings sort of technologists in the factories to get the flavour right? Did you do quite a few trials, or did you just sort of know exactly what you were looking for straight away?
Oh no, loads of trials. I mean, I think with, for example, the paprika, we went through 34 different flavors.
Really? Wow.
Wow. It was hard because we wanted to make sure that there was no sugar, there was super clean ingredients, all ingredients that consumers would know what they are, and that the ingredients list wasn't going to be too long. So yeah, it was quite a challenge to be able to get to that right flavor profile. Yeah.
That was something that struck me actually. I was looking at the product when we got through the post, is just how simple the ingredients deck is on the back. It's corn flour, corn oil, linseed oil, natural paprika powder, salt. There's nothing in there that you don't know what it is, which is great. Especially being a parent, if you're wanting to chuck the kids a bag of snacks in a car on a long journey, which let's be honest, we all do. You just want to know, all right, yeah, it's going to be fine. It's going to be all right, no nasty. So it's fantastic. What's your favourite flavour out of interest out of the ones that you've got so far?
I'm a big salt vinegar fan, actually.
Yes.
But I do also like the sour cream and onion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is oh, it smells good. Yeah, that's always the thing I look for with salt and vinegar is how strong it smells when you open the bag. So it's smelling very good. There we go. You can see that's the cheeky snacks there. That's
So these are pretty punchy on the vinegar.
you can really taste the cider vinegar. It's great. Love that. I'm a big fan of make a lot of salad dressing at home, and the kids call it salad gravy. But I always use cider vinegar for it because it's just slightly sweeter, isn't it? And that's really nice, sweet salt and vinegar flavour. That's fantastic. Comes highly recommended, guys. Get into it. So the sour cream and onion. That's the one you said is another favourite. Right, let's get into these. So how did you decide which flavours you were going to have? Was that sort of panelling insights, gut feel? Like, what was the sort of thoughts behind that?
For these ones, we went with the UK's favourite flavours.
Yeah.
So we wanted to go out there with something that was familiar. We've got 2 new flavours launching this summer, and they're a bit different. And those have been from consumer insights and feedback.
Cool. That's really tasty.
Really creamy.
I was just going to say that actually. You can really taste the sour cream. Sometimes you have sour cream and chive crisps, and it's quite chivey, quite breathy. Whereas these taste a lot more creamy, which is really nice, a bit different.
But our number 1 bestseller is the cheese.
Is it?
But I'm not a huge cheese fan, so.
When we did the unboxing video actually on LinkedIn, a couple of your fans were commenting, and one of the guys said that the really cheesy is his favourite. So that smells good. Yeah, it's got like it's like kind of 4 cheese flavour going on. Like a big,
got quite a lot of depth to it and a strong cheese flavour.
It tastes quite Italian actually.
Well, that's good because that's where it's made.
No, I like it. It's good. Really, my kids, their favourite crisps are always cheese. We get a lot of requests for what's it type things in the back. So
you should get them onto these.
Definitely put it before the panel of monsters at home. See what they say.
Exactly.
That's really tasty. So what led you to do the brand activation with Gemma Collins then? How did you sort of come up with the idea? It's really kind of different.
So we're working with a new brand agency, and they have come up with a whole new campaign that's called Naughtyish. And ultimately, the whole Naughtyish is around that our snacks are good for you, but they are a snack, so they're still a little bit naughtyish. And so we thought of celebrities who represented being a bit naughtyish. So we had sort of Graham Norton and other people on the list, but we also had Gemma Collins, and we thought that she was the perfect fit, especially with all the things that she'd been doing pre-Christmas. And she came back and said yes, that she would love to do it. So that was a big win for us.
So were you out there sort of filming with her, or was it just the agency got on with that, or?
Oh no, the whole team were there.
Oh, were you? Oh, great.
Were there. Yeah. We were handing out snacks to all the people that were walking past. Gemma loved the snacks as well. So it was a great day.
Oh, that's really good. So what's coming down the pipeline then for Well and Truly? Like, what's the next chapter in the development of the brand going to look like?
Well, we've got 2 new flavours coming out in the summer, which will be really exciting. We're looking at doing another stunt, probably post-summer. So watch this space. And in the meantime, from now all the way through until the end of August, we're going to be going out and doing some crazy different sampling stunts. So you're going to see us, if you happen to be queuing outside a club late at night, you're going to see us whizzing past, handing out midnight munchies.
Nice.
We're going to be outside cinemas, basically everywhere that you want to find us, that's where we're going to be. And we've got some really fun sort of sampling mechanisms that we're going to be putting in place. And ultimately, we just want to make everybody laugh because snacking should be enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, that sounds really exciting. So two new flavours coming out and some more fun stunts and it's stuff out on the streets where it counts.
Being naughtyish, it's what it's all about.
Yes. So is there a hashtag Naughtyish that people are going to be able to follow? Yeah.
Yes, they can. We literally just launched it with Gemma Collins, so
Right.
use that as well.
Right, right. So obviously I went through the social handles before. Was there anything that I missed there? Are there any other places that people can check you out, website, all that kind of stuff?
No, we're going to start doing some stuff on TikTok, which would be really
Oh yeah,
exciting.
yeah, yeah.
All around Naughtyish,
Hmm.
but Instagram is a big one for us, as well as Twitter and Facebook.
Great, right. That sounds good. And what about availability? Like, where can people pick up these tasty snacks?
So we're available in Tesco's, we're in Sainsbury's,
Hmm.
we're on Ocado, Whole Foods, Booths up in the north.
Yeah,
We're in lots of different independent stores, and we're in quite a few different offices.
great. Offices, okay. Yeah, in vendors?
Yeah, in vendors
Oh,
and in
right.
the canteens.
Oh, brilliant. That's great. We need to get a vending machine in the office, Adam. Well and truly snacks in then, just for the four of us, but we'll smash through it.
Yeah.
Right, that's really good. Okay, well, look, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been really, really good fun. In the what I'm going to do is we're going to make a couple of videos. We'll do a best of highlights video for LinkedIn. Then we'll have a longer form link to our YouTube channel, and then we'll put links to all your social on YouTube and do a post as well, linking all that on our LinkedIn. But yeah, if you're not following Sarah already on LinkedIn, follow them there. Follow Well and Truly on social, and more importantly, go and buy the products from Tesco's and Sainsbury's, and or even better, try and get it into your vending machine in your office. But thanks so much again. It's been really good fun, Sarah, and look forward to seeing more of those stunts and yeah, Naughtyish stuff going on this summer. It's gonna be great.
I can't wait. And thank you so much for having me. It was really good fun.
Oh, thank you. It's been really good.